Welcome back to Professor Choyce's Corner. You know that I'm Professor Choyce, and as promised, we're focusing on the final exam review for our Fundamentals of Criminal Law class. We'll be covering all of the key points and clues that you'll need to be successful in this exam. So let's get started. So this final covers chapters 1 through 15. In chapter 1, we explore the purposes, scope, and sources of criminal law. It's important to understand why criminal law exists, how it is applied, and where it originates from. Now remember, criminal law serves to maintain social order and protect individuals and society as a whole. Moving on to chapter 2, we delve into the concept of jurisdiction. Understanding jurisdiction is crucial as it determines which court has the authority to hear a case. Remember, both state and federal governments have the power to prosecute a defendant for the same crime under the Dual Sovereignty Doctrine. Chapter 3 focuses on the essential elements of a crime. It's important to identify and understand these elements as they are necessary to establish criminal liability. Remember, the elements of a crime include actus reus, the guilty act, and mens rea, the guilty mind. Building upon chapter 3 and chapter 4, this explores the concepts of criminal liability. It is essential to grasp the different theories and principles that determine when an individual can be held accountable for their actions. Remember, criminal liability requires both actus reus and mens rea to be proven. Gotta remember that. It's important to be familiar with the defenses such as duress, coercion, and the concept of affirmative defenses. Remember, an affirmative defense assumes the charges to be correct, but raises other facts that, if true, would establish a valid excuse or justification for the conduct in question. It's essential to understand the range of penalties that can be imposed upon conviction. Remember, the Eighth Amendment's cruel and unusual punishment clause places limits on the severity of the sentences imposed in state criminal trials. The clear and present danger test. It's important to understand the clear and present danger test and the limits placed on government restrictions of speech. Remember, public order crimes can sometimes involve limitations on free speech. It's crucial to understand the different degrees of murder and the factors that determine the severity of the offense. Remember, the crime of incest is generally prosecuted with a focus on cases involving children. Now, we discuss crimes against the person, including assault, battery, and other related offenses. It's important to understand the elements of these crimes and their legal consequences. Remember, most women, especially young women, fear rape more than any other crime. Chapter 12 sheds light on the sensitive and important topic of sexual assault, rape, prostitution, and related sex crimes. It's crucial to understand the legal framework and societal implications surrounding these very offenses. Remember also, procuring, promoting, and pimping for prostitution are forbidden by state criminal codes. More information follows here. An affirmative defense is any defense that assumes the complaint or charges to be correct, but raises other facts that, if true, would establish a valid excuse or justification or right to engage in the conduct in question. Criminal statutes of limitations appeared in America as early as 1652. I'll bet you didn't remember that. And what about duress? Duress is a defense to criminal prosecution on the grounds that the defendant was forced to commit the criminal act. That's duress. When a state legislature or the Congress of the United States creates a strict liability crime, the defense of mistake of fact cannot be used because the criminal liability comes from simply doing the forbidden act without any requirement for the state or government to prove any mental fault. Remember this, all sentences imposed in state criminal trials are subject to the Eighth Amendment's cruel and unusual punishment clause. I probably stated that earlier. Mental illness, mental retardation, and many forms of physical illness may be the basis for finding a person incompetent to stand trial. Mandatory reporting laws have been enacted by all states to require doctors, nurses, teachers, daycare workers, and other people coming in contact with children to report suspected child abuse. Many states have adopted feticide statutes, which treat the death of an unborn fetus outside the usual definitions of homicide. Corpus delicti means the body or substance of the crime, and that's proof that a crime has been committed. The most common murder, the intentional killing of another human being, intent to kill murder is considered the most serious offense in the criminal law. Love this expression, hint, hint, wink, wink, nod, nod. Remember, a crime may also be a tort and a moral wrong at the same time. For example, murder is a crime, a tort, and also a moral wrong. Each state has general power to make criminal laws. The federal government has only the power delegated to it in the U.S. Constitution. However, you already knew that. The killing of one human being by another human being, this is the definition of homicide. Again, that's a no-brainer, right? Martial law. Martial law is a state of military control over civilian populations as declared by state or the federal government. Murder under the common law and as enacted by the statutes of many states as first-degree murder is often defined as an unlawful homicide with malice aforethought. Okay, I think I've sprinkled quite a bit of gold dust here. Oh, and before I forget, here's the rest of your review. And here we go again, my famous, well-known PowerPoint presentation. I know some of you are laughing because I said that, but you know I love PowerPoint. Okay, I hope that helped. At least that's my intention. Hey, I'm going to take this opportunity to tell you this. Good luck with your exam. I know you'll do well. Okay, so what I wanted to tell you is it has been a pleasure working with all of you. I learned something from every class. I'm hoping that you'll have a wonderful summer. Hoping to see some of you next semester. Enjoy the rest. Enjoy your summer. Have a great time.